fall, that enchanting time of year we all love so much, something truly special happens when that calendar flips to September 1st.
But what is it about fall that we all love? Is it the sights, the sounds, the smells, or is it the nostalgia of autumn's past that reels us in?
We asked ourselves the same question, and we couldn't come up with an answer. So we did what we always do when we have a tough question. We made a list about it.
And now we want to share our lists with you and finally answer the question, what is the best thing about fall? Now, before we get to number 10, I just want to say, if you love fall as much as we do, you should definitely subscribe because we got so much fall content coming at you for the next 2 months, and we want to share it all with you. Let's get to number 10.
All right.
All right, let's get started. Now, we do not know what's on each other's list, so this is gonna come as much of a surprise to us as it is to you, and I'm really excited to hear what Megan's got, but I'm gonna go ahead and start. My number 10 best thing about fall is summer ending. I'm not a huge fan of summer, and something I really love about fall is all those summery things coming to a close. Nature sort of transforms itself, and so do we, and that's something I really love about the season, so my number 10 is summer ending.
I respect that. I respect that. My number 10 is football. It's just kind of the sign of the fall season starting. Since I've been with David, he's really gotten me into football, and it's gotten our kids into football. It's a weekly bonding thing. So my number 10 is football. All right, my number 9 is cooler weather. And I specifically say cooler because it's not cold yet. In Charleston, it doesn't get very cold, but in the summer, it's really hot. So cooler weather, and the biggest part that I enjoy about the cooler weather is there's no humidity. So, I mean, it had to go on my list, but it wasn't one of my favorite things, so it puts it at number 9. What about you?
That's fair. My number 9 is fall treats, those sweet fall treats I love so much, whether it's pumpkin pie or pumpkin spice or apples. There's so many to choose from, and I avoid sweets most of the year, or I try to anyway, but I can't during fall.
No.
I'm all in for it. So my number 9 is fall treats. Let's go to number 8.
All right.
My number 8 is football. Same reasons that Megan said. I'm slightly obsessed with football, and there is a synchronicity between fall starting and football starting that is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And there's something really special about waking up early morning, the day you're gonna watch football, and putting some chili on in a crock pot and just getting ready to spend a whole day watching football. To me, the two are intertwined. My number 8 is football. What about you, Meg?
My number 8 is bugs dying, just in general. In Charleston, the mosquitoes and flies, on top of the heat, which we already did cooler weather. So now it's getting cool and there's no mosquitoes and no bugs. It's now heaven.
Yeah,
so my number
one.
8 is bugs dying. My number 7 is sweaters and hoodies. It's sweater and hoodie weather, and who doesn't like a sweater or a hoodie and getting all cozy and comfortable? And we keep our house very cold, so we can often get cozy in the house, but now I can wear one outside and not be miserable. Yes, please.
All right, my number 7 is Thanksgiving. Now, I wanted to put this higher because so many things about Thanksgiving are fall, but the problem is by the time Thanksgiving comes, I'm in full-blown Christmas mode. So I couldn't put it too much higher than 7. But Thanksgiving has all the ingredients for a perfect fall day, and I think it deserves a spot on the list. Number 7, Thanksgiving. Time for number 6.
Yeah.
My number 6, decorating. And this can be fall decorating, it can be Halloween decorating. I just like decorating. For me, summer and a lot of the other times of the year are so boring, it's just bland. And this is such a festive time of year where you can really just deck out the house and go all out with pretty colors. I love it. For me, number 6 is decorating.
My number 6 is Thanksgiving.
Hey.
For all of the reasons that you stated. And that's, again, one of the reasons I didn't have it higher on my list as well, is because when Thanksgiving happens, I start getting too excited that Christmas is around the corner. And this is a fall list. Not to mention, with it being a family thing and everybody's cooking and usually everybody puts in something, I get a ton of food without having to cook everything, which is like blissful for me. So that's my number 6.
All right, let's go to number 5.
All right, we have made it to the halfway point. Number 5. My number 5 is fall treats. And the one main thing that I think of when I think of fall treats is pumpkin pie. And I'm not talking store-bought pumpkin pie. I'm talking homemade, fresh out of the pumpkin pie. And not to mention anything flavored pumpkin is delicious. So that's my number 5.
My number 5 is haunted houses. All childhood trauma aside, I have so many fond memories of going to haunted houses as a kid and being super scared. And even though it's not scary to me now, I still really look forward to it. I love the spookiness of it, the whole vibe.
And you know deep down, it's still scary.
It's still a little scary. I enjoy it. It falls at number 5 for me. Let's go on to number 4. All right, my number 4 best thing about fall is cooler weather. I am pretty thick and I am built for some colder weather. The summer is miserable for me and I love throwing on a hoodie and feeling all cozy, and I love a cool breeze in my face. That crisp autumn air just hits so right. Number 4 for me, cooler weather. What about you?
My number 4 is pumpkin carving, which is something you only generally do during fall.
Yeah.
So it's mainly because it's a nostalgic thing. We've done it in my family. You know, most families have, but we've done it since I was a child. You know, I am excited to have my children or our children do it, and you get those, like, it goes back to the pumpkin pie thing. Get the fresh pumpkin guts
Yes.
to make homemade pumpkin pies. Just the whole nostalgia of it.
It's a lot of fun.
Definitely my number 4. And not to mention with pumpkin carving, you don't have to be really good at it to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm really bad at it, and I love
me
it.
too. And you can also be really good at it, so it's really cool. Anyway, that's my number 4. Let's move on to number 3. My number 3 is watching for decorations around the neighborhood. It's exciting to walk outside or drive through your neighborhood, which you're going to do every day probably, and see how many more pop up each day. And then not to mention, it's like a countdown.
Yeah.
The more decorations you see, the closer you are to Halloween.
And you get to scout the competition, see what the neighbors are doing, and if you need to step up your game. That's
True.
a really, really good one.
Thanks.
I didn't even think of it.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Halloween.
Whoa.
Going into this list, I thought it was like slam dunk number 1. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's kind of the build up to Halloween that I enjoy so much. And the actual night is a lot of fun. I mean, it's number 3 for me, but so many things can derail it. If it's raining, the night's kind of ruined. If it's a school night, it's a lot less fun, it
True.
seems like. So for me, the build-up is more important, but the actual night still deserves a spot in the top 3, and it falls at number 3 for me. Now it's time to go to number 2. My number 2 best thing about fall. By the way, leave a comment and let us know what your favorite thing is. I forgot to mention
least
that
favorite.
earlier. Yeah, or if our list sucks, let us know. Anyway, number 2 for me, fall festivals. Those community-driven fall festivals, harvest things where there's all kinds of activities for the kids and stuff for adults. I look forward to those so much. That's something that, like, in the middle of March, I'm thinking about the harvest festivals that you have all around town. It falls at number 2 for me. What about you?
My number 2 is decorating. And I put it so high mainly because you can start decorating as early as you technically want. I mean,
Yeah, that's
September 1st, I feel like is being fair
That's our day.
yeah. You do it as a family. The older the kids get, the more excited they get to help. And not to mention, even when they're babies, 1-2 years old, they get so excited to
They
come
do.
out to all these new fun things to look at. So, I mean, decorating, I had to put it pretty high. It's my number 2.
All right. Next is number 1. I'm so curious what you got. Let's do this.
Number 1, we made it. My number 1, and I'm shocked it's my number 1 and not his number 1. My number 1 is Halloween. And exactly what you said, it's for that build up and excitement. I mean, we start talking in January about what the kids are going to be for Halloween that year.
So for you, the build up was part of.
Yeah, exactly. Because,
that's fair.
the build up is for that one day. It's
Yeah.
for Halloween. That's what all the excitement and build up is for.
Yeah.
But yeah, and not to mention, it's not a very stressful holiday compared to some of the other holidays. There isn't a ton of cooking and things like that. Other than planning costumes, it's not really that stressful.
That's true.
It's a fun one.
That's a solid number 1.
Thanks.
I think it's very good.
What about you?
My number 1's weird, and I did not expect it to be, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. My number 1 favorite thing about fall is hay rides. I love hay rides. That's the thing that I look forward to most. And I thought about it
We
and
talk
thought
about
about
hay
it.
rides all year.
Because you can have like a family-friendly one during the day where there's, all kinds of corn stalks and all that stuff. Or you can go one at night that's super scary. It's got everything. You can sip your hot cocoa and ride on hay. You're riding on hay. What could be more fall than that? And an old truck driving you. To me, it is fall in a nutshell. You get the sights, you get the sounds, you get the smells, you have everything. So for me, as weird as it sounds, my number one favorite thing about fall is hay rides.
I think that's fair. You only get hay rides during fall too. There's no other time of year you're gonna get offered to go on a hay ride.
You sit on hay.
Yeah, this is true.
All right, that's the list. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was actually really tough to make, and there were so many things that didn't make my list that I feel like deserved it, and it was really tough to cut them. So I'm curious, which ones did not make your list that you really wanted to make the list?
So I almost put fall festivals on there,
Mm-hmm.
but the reason I didn't is because I haven't been to that many. The only experiences that I really have about fall festivals are from TV, and I felt like that wasn't fair to,
Right.
not have the experience. But fall festivals and scary movies or scary TV shows.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't put that one on there is because we watch those all year round. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
not really like a pivotal point of fall for me.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like there was like the scents and like the fall foliage. Those are things that I really thought would make the list, but we don't get a lot of the color change in leaves here, and we burn fall candles all year long.
Yep.
So those didn't quite make the list. Some of the other ones, like bugs dying, that was super weird. I wish I had put that on my list. I can't, the hoodies and sweaters.
Yeah, I mean,
I look forward to that too, and I really wanted that to make the list, but we only had 10 spots.
right.
So again, let us know in the comments what you guys think. What's your favorite part about fall? What did we forget? Because there's probably stuff we're forgetting.
I'm sure.
But we enjoyed doing this. We hope you guys enjoyed watching. Give us a subscribe and a like. We will see you next time. And as always, stay spooky.